All right.
Are you ready?
5, 4, 3, 2.
Growing police podcast ever to be done here at the Miami Police Department.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing setup you guys have here.
Do you hear the crowd?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody's cheering.
Wow. Bring it down. Bring it down. Woo! We got a special guest on the podcast today. We're gonna talk a little bit about that in a second. First, let's go around the room and introduce each other.
Hey, my name is Anissa. I'm the social broadcasting specialist for the unit.
Hey, Anissa.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ralph. I've been with the social media unit for three years now and an officer with the department for 6.
All right.
All right. Greetings, everybody. It's Orlando from the Public Information Office. Excited to be here.
All right. And I'm Nick. Excited to be here.
Just Nick. That's Nick.
I don't want to talk too much because we got a special guest here. We want to introduce yourself?
I'm Lieutenant Oriel Tameron from the City Miami Police Department. I oversee the Special Events Unit as well as the Marine Patrol Unit at this time.
Wow. So those two units, we're going to dig into those a little bit and figure out a little bit about what that is about. I think I said about a couple times there.
Just a little.
Yeah. So typically we have our guests come on, and they're just officers. We had the chief.
Okay.
Did they come on and they're just officers and they're looking around, they get a little nervous. You came in here smooth, man.
He's ready to go.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's just like
regular conversation.
That's it. Came here smooth. He was looking around. He's like, "Oh, so this was about? This is my seat. I got this.
Let's do this.
Press play."
But then when we hit the intro, you're like, "Wait a minute."
Oh, that's when it got serious.
A little professional. And then you mentioned something else. In upcoming weeks, you have an event that you'll be honored for some of the stuff you did over there on Fort Myers Beach, right?
Yeah, that's correct. iHeartRadio, Enrique Santos has invited us to the iHeartRadio Music Festival on Saturday at the FTX Arena.
Nice.
Nice.
And
It's awesome.
Some of us will be assisting him with opening up the show.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they're going to play some footage on the Jumbotron. I don't know if you know that.
I told him to reach out. I knew a certain somebody that had some good footage
Yes.
that might be able to help out.
So, he called, and I was like, yeah, man, whatever you need. And I send over some footage for him. It's going to be on the Jumbotron.
right.
Nice. That's awesome.
And you're like, I don't know, but that event, I might be a little nervous. This one, I got this.
Yeah, that one, in front of a couple thousand people,
Well, I
we'll
mean,
see.
But eventually.
Behind these cameras,
Yeah.
there's
A million.
thousands and millions of people.
Around the world.
Yeah, global reach.
That's right.
Worldwide.
Yeah. So what we do here on the podcast is we talk about units, we talk about events, we bring in guests from the outside.
Awesome.
And then if there's something that happens, we want to highlight that in our officers' efforts. And so this is something that happened, right?
Correct.
So we want to highlight this, and not only you were just in command at that point of your contingency. So we want to maybe you can talk about them and just tell about things that happened over there. We also have people online that sent in questions. So if people are listening or not following us on Instagram, on TikToks, on all the platforms, even on YouTube,
Click the like and subscribe button.
boom! I'm telling you, I think he has his own channel somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some
He's been on a
research.
podcast or two before.
If you're not following us and you want to get featured, you want to ask our guests questions, make sure you follow us. We're going to shout out the handle. That's going to be later on in the podcast. We're going to shout out the handle and then read the questions.
Sounds good.
All right.
Let's
so
do it.
if you're listening in saying, what's this hour going to be about? That kind of sums it up. Am I right, Orlando?
Absolutely.
He's done for this episode.
He's done. He's done. He's just going to sit back and
Orlando,
relax.
you can leave.
I earned my $1 for the day.
All right. So we're going to go into a fan favorite.
Okay.
This is called Anissa's Icebreakers.
Let's see what the icebreaker's all about.
What was that sound effect?
That's for Anissa's icebreakers.
Oh, man, that sounds
It
like-
sounds like it does not sound like an ice breaking, but we'll fix that.
That sounded like when
melting?
Mr. Rogers was transitioning to another scene. Play that again.
I just randomly chose to play the letter D.
Right? And he's like, okay, neighbors,
Very nice.
let's go outside. And then they go to another scene. Am I right? That's exactly what it sounds
Hey,
like.
did it break the ice?
It was
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah,
It
all
was
right.
good. From now on, we're playing the Mr. Rogers sound effects.
Go ahead, Anissa.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought of a movie. Like I watched this like a while ago. It's called Bicentennial Man.
Okay.
And
Is that with
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams?
And And
He was good.
He's like an AI or a robot, and he never ages, but he falls in love, and like his love, passes that whatever. But you get to see like the future.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what if you had a time machine and you can travel either to the future or to the past? It could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in your lifetime. Where would you go?
So let's just get some parameters. We got one pull of the. Do we get to come back? Are we coming back? Do we get to come back to our present time?
Yes.
Okay.
Happy ending.
There's a
All
lot.
happy
You know what I'm
You get
saying?
to go and come back.
There's a lot.
Yeah. It's not permanent.
Yeah. So are we clicking forward or are we clicking in reverse? Does anybody want to take? We're just gonna jump in. So it's not on you. You got time to.
I'll go forward to the future.
Ooh. Well, why? Elaborate a little bit.
My kids.
Oh, so you're gonna go how many years? 20,
I would probably
30.
You know what?
40.
They're 7 and 5 right now. So yeah, I would say 20 would be good.
20.
See what
See 'em in their college years?
27 and 25 would be like.
I think.
Maybe. Hey.
I think we
And
pushed.
then come back.
When I come back, that might mean I got to change something as a
Yeah,
parent,
you might see something like, oh, when I
see
get
something
back.
that I don't like.
So you're doing research
I'm doing research.
to find out about
Exactly.
kids.
Hey, at the end of the day, you want your kids to be better than you, right?
That's correct.
right.
So gotta make sure that happens.
At least we know where you're at. That's really good.
I didn't think about that angle, but that's
You're getting
smart.
Mine was super
Sports
selfish. I'm not
almanac?
gonna lie.
He said that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
he said that, and I thought about my answer, and I was like, oh, that's right, I got 2 girls.
Especially with girls.
Yeah.
Especially with girls. I got 1 girl.
Yeah.
Definitely gotta look into that.
You don't want to
Yeah.
push it to like 30?
Nah.
Because you're still making decisions. I feel like in the 30s, you're kind of getting to where you're at.
Yeah, but I would think by 27, 25, you're separating from the parents. Probably already have been off to college, and if you stayed home, time to get a career, branch out. Gotta make sure they do better than mom and dad, man.
Okay, very good. I
Sure.
feel like everyone doesn't want to answer this now because they're super selfish. Anybody want to jump in?
I did not consider my family at all.
True.
I thought about what the future is going to look like. I'm like, I would like to go into the future, but just to see what it looks like. Like, I just want to see what it looks like because we have an idea of what the past looks like
Yeah.
a little, so more the future.
All right. Are you getting out talking to people? Or-
No, I don't even do that now.
Oh my God. What a waste. What a waste.
That's what podcasts are for.
I'm an observer.
You're supposed
I'm
to
going to
go.
sit in the corner in a park just watching people.
Oh my God. But you got to talk to them. You never know. They can be like, well, who are you? And like, oh my God, these are robots. They're not even humans. But
Like-
you would think
That's how
everything was good.
that's how the whole question started, right?
Yeah. Hello.
True.
I don't know, Anissa.
I'm taking my sports almanac with me.
There you
Back
go.
to the Future reference.
Exactly.
Hey, yo.
Watch out for Biff.
which leads right into my answer because that's what I was going to
Yep.
say. I'll go back in time. No specific time, but maybe like 20, 30 years or you know what? To 1972. As you see Tua here, I mean, I could experience what a good Dolphins team is like.
Oh, shots
And-
fired.
and-
Shots
no,
fired.
I love my team. I love my team. Man. But I would go back in time, maybe with an almanac, maybe not. But the thing about coming back is and then the money. But maybe I'll set up a bank account or something.
Yeah. So if you do something in the past, will it affect?
Will
you?
it transfer? Like if I set up a little bank account, does it transfer over to the year 2022?
Exactly. But if you
Oh,
go to
wow.
the future, that means you come back and you set it up now.
True. I didn't think about that.
So I might be
Very
doing
smart.
research on my kids.
Very smart.
But hey, while I'm
that's
doing
true.
research, I'm going to learn a few things
Not just research on your kids, research on other
and everything.
on everything going on.
Absolutely.
See, maybe the Dolphins have one. From here to there.
Ooh, in the well,
I like
don't know.
that.
No, in the future, you went to the future. Yeah, maybe they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like somewhere along those 20 years. Hopefully,
and you can put the
we
bet
went to
in.
the playoffs and won a game at least.
Hopefully, we made it back to at least the playoffs.
Something, an AFC championship.
So to put it into perspective, you're going to get some gambling insight.
I'm going. No, what I'm going to do is
Whoa.
I'm gonna
No,
go.
that's not what he said.
It's an investment
Financial
for my
future.
children.
There you go. He brought it back to the kids.
He's just gonna go set up a bank account. That's it. And he's gonna go back and buy some Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Damn smart.
Smart.
little Apple investment.
Exactly. Little
Amazon?
a little Tesla.
Amazon.
Amazon,
Yeah,
Tesla.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's see. That's a toughie, but not to get too heavy. I don't think I would go to the future because I'd be worried that I would get there the day after like a comet hit the earth or something like that.
What happens if the year you choose is like there's nothing there?
So I would definitely go to the past because I would like to do touristy things like go see the Beatles live, meet historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci, like geniuses from the past.
Wait. You get one pull.
It's true.
You
it's
gotta
true.
go to one.
Yeah. I don't know where I'd go, but I would go to the past and I would definitely do the BIF. I would invest in Microsoft and
everything.
Apple. And, you know?
All right, Marty McFly. I was like, man, I was talking about, I wanted to go future, but then I'm thinking about the past now that we're talking about these investments. So I'm kind of like torn. The future was so I can see where civilization is going to be at. I wanted to see if
Flying cars.
So like a long time ahead, like 100 years or something like that.
I'm talking more. I'm talking about
1,000?
300, 400 years.
500 years.
Well, think about this. If we think about the progression from the 80s until now with technology.
And that's only what, 42 years?
I want to see what kind of video games they have, or if we're a video game.
Yeah, right.
What is it called?
Virtual reality? Like,
But there's something
Just going to be like a little box you walk
we're in
into.
the Matrix.
We're the ones living inside this virtual reality,
Yes, yeah.
and other people or things are watching us.
It's a simulation. What's it called?
A simulation.
It's a simulation. I don't know, but yeah, I listen to some weird podcasts.
Yeah,
Are we in a video game?
we
right
can
now?
see that.
Let's not get into the galaxy talk
So
that we've had in the office.
yeah, so I'm gonna recant. I'm gonna go past, and so I can do some investing.
There you
I'm gonna
go.
go past, and it's just strictly for business.
Okay.
Yeah, Strictly-
business.
because look, you're setting up. So if you go to the future, you're like, oh, I'm gonna set my kids up for the future. But if I'm in the past, I already have.
By the time you get back, it's there.
I already have the wealth, and they can carry on my wealth.
Huh?
Yeah.
Whichever way you look at it.
Yeah.
All right. With
It's
that,
a win-win situation.
I think we kind of walked around incriminating ourselves.
This is all hypothetical.
Insider trading.
Yeah, great question, Anissa.
Hence, Miami Dolphins. We expect a win.
Yeah. Hopefully.
She's like, moving. We got him. Moving. We got him.
That takes me to the flying car question.
Anyway, for the flying car, we had a flying car question with the chief.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
And
actually, I heard it this morning on the way in Dubai. They just tested it. I think it was yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Yeah. Dubai also has.
All the money in the world.
Right. And they have robot police. They have robot police.
Is that true, really?
That is true. They rolled out their first robot police.
How do you get detained by a robot?
No, but it's reports. Like, you know, it's
Wow.
essentially like a kiosk, you know, but
Okay.
they're roving around and like, may I help you? And then
Do they talk like that?
yes,
Do they talk like that?
I think I heard of this where you could sell your face to, or I don't know if it was police, but maybe it was like a customer service agent at a hotel.
Yeah.
And they have like little robots, and you can
With
sell, like if you have a friendly face, you can sell your face to have it.
Can
on
you
the
imagine,
robot.
Nick, would they bite your face?
Walking into the hotel and just see Nick's face all around?
Wow.
Hey, Nick at the front desk.
Yeah.
Nick cleaning the room. Nick at the car. Nick everywhere. Wow.
wow, it would be great if I was only considered if my voice can sound like this.
There you go.
So that's the icebreakers.
Moving on.
Now you
The
gotta
flying
figure-
car question always leads to something.
Yeah, right?
You're like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, I'm like, should I have left the office today?
Well,
Oh, wait, my phone's ringing. Gotta go.
yeah. So with that being said, we're leading up to our first break. We take breaks here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're going to run a commercial, and then when we come back, we're going to get into the nitty gritty.
Sounds good.
And then maybe the third segment, we'll get into those questions from the audience.
Yeah.
And then we'll get back to the nitty gritty.
Let's do it.
Sounds
Take
good.
breaks. With that being said,
Be right back. What's up, everyone? I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Did you know that we have a Miami Police vlog? If you didn't, you can find them all over at our main channel. For example, like my favorite one, which was the Ultra vlog this year, where you can get a behind-the-scenes look just at what it takes to cover a large-scale event such as Ultra from the police department side. Again, it's over on our main channel. You can see the Ultra vlog or all of the other vlogs that we've ever done in the past. All right, let's get back to the show.
and we're back.
We're recording.
Yeah. So how did you like that commercial?
That was great. Great break.
He's-
It's amazing.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that commercial we just ran?
yeah.
Man, it gave a lot of informative information.
There you go. Let's give a beat.
You know,
He's good.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know, you guys got our squared away.
Yeah,
I
listen.
gotta say this. When you guys told me about a podcast, you know, I thought it was a personal one, whatever. So I texted you.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, gotta check with baseball. You're like, no, man, this is City Miami Police one. I'm like, We got one?
Yeah.
And I walk in here and I see all this commercials, music intro. Bro, it's amazing.
Listen, we've been keeping this under wraps. And you know how hard it is.
It's hard.
It's like, you got to keep it under wraps here. And when you work in an agency or somewhere for 25 years, you become family.
Exactly.
So you get, hey, did you hear? But no one has really heard. We kind of the word was mum here. We kept the word mum. You like that?
I do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We're tight-lipped. And, and now we
now it's out.
and now it's out. So anyways, we're going to go into some questions that we have for you and your experience over there. But first, you mentioned you were a lieutenant in special events.
Correct.
And now Marine Patrol.
That's right.
Recently, we had a promotion from Marine Patrol.
Yeah.
And you're taking over the duties now.
Correct.
As a lieutenant there.
Correct. The lieutenant that was there got promoted. He oversaw multiple units. So we split them all up to make sure there's proper supervision and everything continues to flow like a well-oiled machine.
Nice.
So I got Marine Patrol.
But we're not going to get too far into this because we want to bring people from Marine Patrol, even though you are.
Exactly.
But we can get into the weeds with that a little bit. Or into the seaweeds.
Good one, man.
Thank you, Orlando. I have to go to him for confirmation.
Nick is on point.
He gives you the look.
I can see that. He gives you the nod,
He goes like, okay.
That's when you know you got him.
There's I put a little check mark.
Making Orlando proud.
That's it. But anyways,
We'll see.
So let's talk about special events. What does that have to do? What are your duties there?
Man, special events is really busy in the city of Miami. We have a lot of film. We have the city has an office called the Film and Entertainment Office. So everybody that wants to either film, do photo shoot, have a special event, concerts, anything of that sort, in the city of Miami, they put their application through them. They disseminate it to everybody. So police, fire, public works, everybody's involved. Everybody has their hands on it to make sure that everything is, all city requirements are met and that it's properly staffed, not only by police and fire, but also public works, street closures, construction. We got a lot going on in the city.
Right. Wow.
So, we handle all major events in the city. We handle
Heat games.
all the Heat games, the Marlins games, the concerts, the Ultras,
Boat show.
the boat show,
Basel.
Art Basel, even small events that pop up throughout the city. We even handle the what we call the permanent details, like Publixes. When you walk into Publix and you see an officer there, all that goes through our office.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're a business out there, you're throwing an event and you want to hire, it's a police officer, but they're
Correct.
working as security
Correct.
and making sure that everything's all right.
Correct.
They would go see you.
Yeah, exactly. They would contact the City of Miami Police Special Events Office. We'll guide them if they need to get a permit or anything like that. We'll guide them. We'll let them know who they have to go see, what they have to do, and then eventually it comes back to us so they can hire their officers so that their events are safe.
Wow. So
And then
administratively, it's a beast.
Yeah.
It's a beast. I mean,
Yes.
until you get there, you really don't realize how much of a beast it is.
The magnitude.
The magnitude, because some of these events, they might be year in and year out, the same event coming over, but now, an example, Ultra might come in and be like, oh, we're not going to have 6 stages this year. We're going to have 8 stages.
Right.
Yeah.
Our footprint's going to grow, or our attendance went up or went down. So depending on all these changes
And
that
you gotta
happen
make
year to
that
year,
decision.
we have to make changes on our end also. Sometimes you got to make decisions on the fly. Like once you're already there, hey, hold on. The event is on the water. We only had one boat out there, but it's too much things going on. We're surrounded by water.
Yeah.
So all these events a lot of times are near the water. So what ends up happening, people are boating, they hear music, they see crowds, they come and they start anchoring in places that they shouldn't be anchoring. All that kind of stuff. So wait, one boat is not enough. I need more. So at the last minute now you got to be contacting the promoter. Hey, this is going to cost you more money.
Yeah.
However, come and look for yourself. See how it is. Oh, okay.
All right.
And you got to start calling people in. So it's a monster.
Which segues to the boats.
There you go.
Now
There you go.
Now you're
Our own segues.
Smooth segue.
I got you.
twofer in like the last 5 minutes.
There you
So
go.
what about Marine Patrol? Just a little bit, because we want to get into the seaweeds.
Of
with them
course. Oh,
eventually.
you go seaweeds again.
I have to. You can only use it twice. I think 3 times you.
Okay, you're borderline.
close
you're
to your
borderline.
limit.
Yeah, close to the limit. He's gonna have to come up with something new.
Yeah.
Yes.
Marine Patrol, man. I mean, we got 12 officers at this time. It's busy. The busiest waterways in all of Florida.
Yeah.
I would say. We got a lot of tourist areas. A lot of boat chartering. People come in, they want to go out on a boat, but they don't know what to do, so then they just rent one. And then they go out. We have a lot of manatee zones. That's also a big thing in our area, the wildlife.
So
that we have to protect.
And you guys also have a dive team. Everyone's dive certified. That's on.
That's
is that one of the
correct.
qualifications?
Correct.
Yeah. Right. So it's not only they're driving the boats, they got to jump in.
They got to jump in every single time. You know, like people see on social media, all these people, you know, their cars, they go to launch their boat, but they launch
the
their car.
marina.
They launch their car at the same time. You know,
Those are
underwater.
called, those are called the boat ramp champs.
You know, so we got to go in there, you know, and assist the tow truck drivers with hooking up the car underwater, and then being able to pull out the cars.
I think Orlando had a suggestion for that boat ramp thing, a car that can not only, it's not the flying car, but the one that goes
In the water.
Well, you know, that's funny that you mentioned that, because once we get to the high water vehicle, I was going to talk about maybe using amphibious vehicles at some point in the future. What do you think?
Great. Okay.
It's a possibility.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, I will say that I've been to the Marine Patrol tryout, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's no
It is.
joke.
It
It's
is.
hard.
Those guys definitely gotta tread water for a while.
Yeah.
And gals.
Hard. And gals.
She's good.
Exactly.
We have one. She's good. She's
One at
good.
this time.
Yeah. Hey, but there's going to be positions open, right?
There's always opportunity.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's always.
All right. So Marine Patrol and special events. How did you get involved with going over to the West Coast in Fort Myers? How'd that happen?
Well, both units fall under the special operations section.
Okay.
So in the special operations sections, we have all the specialized units. So we have Office of Emergency Management, Bomb Squad, SWAT, motors, traffic homicide, special events, mounted, canine.
True.
True.
Can't lay
There
it
you
on
go,
my boys.
True.
Yeah.
You got True. I know I'm forgetting. It's 12 units in total, and somebody's gonna come back later on and be like, you forgot to mention us.
Did you say, wait, is aviation?
Aviation.
right?
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, I got you.
They were gonna
Shout out
come.
to aviation and the
Did you say-
aviation
did you
vlog.
say motors?
Motors, yeah.
You said
traffic homicide.
Okay. We're good.
Yeah.
They got a
I
lot,
think
they
we
got
got
a lot of
everybody.
cool stuff over there.
Exactly. We got all the toys.
So they asked for volunteers, or like how'd that happen? So they just put together a team.
Yeah. So I got a phone call Wednesday night. Hey,
Hurricane hit Wednesday into Wednesday night.
I want to say Tuesday, Wednesday, around that area.
Yeah.
I know that Wednesday night I got a phone call. Pack your bags. You're leaving at 6:00 in the morning. All right.
Let's
Sounds
go.
good.
Yeah.
I took it a lot better than my wife did.
Yeah.
I'm still paying for that. So.
What you guys left? I know that you were waiting to get a deployment time.
Correct. We're going to leave at 6 in the morning. Then the group got expanded, so it was going to be more guys going off.
Yeah.
Eventually, like around 4:00 in the afternoon, when we did the
little video.
Yeah. You know, we departed.
Yeah.
It took us a little while to get there. The high water vehicles can't go that fast.
So let's rewind a second before we jump back. We did a little video. That little video went all over the place.
Yeah,
Over a
everywhere.
million views combined. If you on our platforms alone, it was like in the 800,000s, and then only Indeed shared it.
Yep.
So you were famous, man.
Ah.
You were
Went viral.
famous, and look at you now.
My 15 minutes of fame.
That's it. We're
And
extending
now
it.
I made
now
it.
it's an
I made
hour.
it to the top.
That's right.
The Miami Police.
That's right.
Podcast.
Oh, we don't have that. We don't have the air horn.
He missed it.
Man, we gotta get that air horn.
We don't have the air horn.
You gotta download the reggae package.
I know, that's what we're missing.
And we're gonna have to call DJ Labs to give you that. Yeah. That tone.
So you were on social media. We got a good response. People were like, "Wow, that's awesome," and you head over there.
That's right.
Right.
They tell us, hey, head over to Fort Myers Beach.
Yeah.
And
Typically like an hour and 45-minute drive.
I would say more about in the two
From
2 to 2:15.
2 to 2:15.
Yeah, range. It took us a little bit longer. Obviously, with the high water vehicles, we can't go that fast.
All right,
we
sorry.
gotta go way below the speed limit.
So high water rescue vehicles.
Rescue vehicles.
We have two. We had two different variations of them. We
Correct.
had four total.
We had four in total. Two are Chevy Silverados 1500 Trail Bosses, and then we also have two Ford Excursions.
Okay. So what makes them high water rescues? Is there that you raise them up a little bit?
They're raised. The Trail Bosses are a little bit higher from stock from the regular Silverados, so they come from factory a little bit higher.
Right.
The Excursions have been lifted. The Miami Fire Department was phenomenal when it came to that. They assisted us. Because they're the experts.
Yeah,
they're
but
the
they also
experts.
they didn't have to put their sticker on the back. They put the
Man.
sticker. They put a sticker that said "Made by Miami Fire
yeah.
Rescue."
You know,
Get that credit.
Before I felt the same. I'm like, really? Like they had to do that? But man, after being out there 13, 14 days with these guys, you
Yeah.
know, I love those guys.
No.
Yeah.
You know, they opened up their arm. They embraced us like one of their own, like their family.
Yeah.
You know, granted, we work with a lot of them day by day. But the Task Force 2 is comprised of a lot more people than just the city of Miami, other smaller municipalities. So they embrace us, you know. So now I embrace that made by, you know, as a matter of fact, you know, more than likely in the future, you know, there might be more collaboration between us and them, as well as those other two Silverados might be getting a little makeup.
Oh, nice.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We put it out there, and then you had all the experts, the jeepers. And like, the thing needs a snorkel.
A snorkel. Everyone has saying.
Yeah,
One thing at a time.
One at a time.
One
We'll
thing
get
at a time.
there.
It was listen. As a
get
matter
there.
of fact, we had just gotten those vehicles. What, Monday?
Yeah.
Monday. So reality is a lot more things, you know, in are planned for the future.
Yeah.
You know, that hopefully can be done. And yes, you jeepers and stuff like that. We agree. There's a couple more things that need to be done.
Yeah.
But you know, the storm was coming, so we had to take what we had.
Yeah. Right.
You know, that better than nothing. Fire rescue. You know, they're the experts when it comes to that. They have a lot of high water because they've been going on these urban search and rescue missions for all over the world. Because they've traveled to other countries. You know, so they know a thing or two about what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they assisted. We got these vehicles, especially here in Miami with King Tide. We got a lot of flooding.
That's what I was leading
You know,
to.
that's why we needed even the trail bosses were great.
Yeah.
But there's times that we need even higher vehicles.
So
that's where these excursions come in.
And it's not, and this is not like, okay, well, you got 4 cars for a hurricane. Now what? No,
It's not just for hurricanes, though.
Yeah.
Look at Edgewater, Brickell. When it rains,
Exactly.
it could get flooded.
The other day,
It could be a weekend of just full rain.
exactly,
And then,
a couple days before the storm, it rained for like 45 minutes,
Right.
and all of Brickell, all of downtown is
Flooded.
it's completely
Right.
flooded.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here for 19 years, and Little Havana for the last 19 years. You know, rains for 30 minutes, and there's certain areas in Little Havana, 12 and Flagler, that whole area there gets completely flooded.
Yeah.
Water over the hoods of vehicles. So it's important to have these cars.
Yes,
to be
absolutely.
able to get officers from point A to point B to be able to answer those calls.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So even though it's flooded, you'd be like, we can't drive our car in there. Sorry, you're on your own. No. Now we have
gotta
resources.
respond. Now we
That's
have
awesome.
resources.
Yeah.
So LT, you said you had to go a little slower given the make of the vehicle. Did you take Alligator Alley to
Yeah.
get there? How long did it take you to get over to the West Coast?
We arrived, I would say, close to 8-ish.
Okay.
We arrived. I mean, we stopped. We stopped somewhere in Miccosukee to fuel up. That one
Snake Road.
Snake Road.
Snake Road.
You know, we stopped there to fuel up because we didn't know what conditions we were going into.
And that's my
You know,
follow-up question.
So I wanted to ensure that when we got there, we at least had enough fuel to be able to continue doing, you know, and assisting and do what we had to do, and give us enough time to be able to get fuel. You know, once
you're there.
once we were there.
Yeah, 'cause
Right, and I was gonna say, like, so was there a point you're going down Alligator Alley and you're like, oh, now, like, you just see, okay, like, we've crossed that threshold and the damage is starting, like.
No, to be honest with you, I-75, and I mean, Nick can tell you, he rode up there. I-75 was okay.
Okay.
You know, you were going up, and yeah, when you got off the exit near Fort Myers in that area, you would see a tree down, power, you know, electricity, the streets and stuff like that. They didn't have power. So, but the closer you got to Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel, because I don't know if you've been there, but it's like a fork on the road.
Sure.
You go to the
Yep.
right, you're in Sanibel. You go to the left, you're in Fort Myers Beach. I mean, that's where the
so is that where
the
you would say
destruction's
you
happening.
really started noticing the damage?
Yeah, as soon as you got extremely close, right there to that fork on the road, that's when you started seeing the damages. I mean, the fact that, you know, we turned onto the street and the first thing you see is like a 60-foot yacht in the middle of the in the middle of the street. That's
Surreal.
that's when you're like, okay, this is real.
Yeah.
This is real and this is bad. And then you look over and you see one that's like 150, 200 feet.
Yeah.
And then you look the other way and there's a huge yacht on top of a Suburban.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you look in the mangroves and there's more yachts inside these mangroves and you're like, how did that get there?
boats.
I know. And yeah, I'm like, I know for a fact that's on the other side because I vacationed there a lot throughout the entire summer. So for example, like this summer, I probably, you know, on and off, spent maybe a month in this area.
Okay.
So I know the area very well. So I'm driving and I'm going,
In order for that boat to get there.
Wait, what's going on? I know these boats were over here. These boats are brand new and they were for sale all the way over there. What are they doing here?
Yeah.
Wow.
You see, I drove into one of the RV campgrounds that's there, San Carlo campground. You know, I camp there with my family in the RVs and friends. And you look over, there's an island, I would say maybe 200 yards away. And there's this big RV that weighs upwards of 15,000 pounds.
Wow.
And ended up in this island out there that's full of trees.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, that used to be here. It ended up. So a lot of the damage wasn't really wind damage. It was more because of the surge, the water surge. That's what really did all that damage.
And
it's real. Water surge is real.
The vehicles, all that stuff you see, right? Because the boat lifted up with the water went.
Yeah.
But houses were there was just the base, the foundation was
Right.
just there,
Yeah.
and houses were gone.
The foundation or the stilts.
Yeah.
You know,
That's it.
That's it.
House is gone.
I saw some houses that were literally floating, like with the surge.
Yeah,
It was like almost like the whole house.
One thing that I
floating away.
explained to Nick, there's an area, another campground inside the Red Coconut RV campground inside Fort Myers Beach. We go there every year for 4th of July for the wife's birthday, and when we're parked, there's a 2-story house, yellow house behind us. I spent 13, 14 days up there. I never found a piece of that house. All that was left was the steps.
Yeah.
The steps.
Wow.
Not even the foundation.
That's
nothing.
crazy.
Just the steps. That's all that was left.
Yeah, I think they were like made out of brick and cement, and
Yeah.
that's all that survived.
Yeah.
Wow.
So to get it geographically, the highway is not like here. We're 95, and then you go a little bit, and you're at the beach. I-75, it's like 30
minutes.
30 minutes from
Yeah.
the beach area. So you got to get off 75 and then drive down.
minutes in.
And it's
Yeah.
not like 30 minutes of stoplights because they're long stretches where you're really driving to get to that beach.
Yeah.
So it was, I went over there on Saturday. I think it was the day after. You had already been up there for about
Yeah, you
24, 48 hours.
Exactly, yeah.
And already some of the rescue task forces were arriving.
Yeah.
Some of the gas trucks and things were arriving there, and they were kind of establishing camps to set up to help the rescue efforts. However, when you got there, that was none of those things were there.
Nothing.
It was like you're just showing up.
We got there. Urban Search and Rescue, South Florida Task Force Team Number 2 had already arrived. They were the ones that we were linking up with. They were out there already searching. They had their equipment that they had gone. A lot of things were still inside the 18-wheelers and the box trucks. You know, because there is at that moment no time to set up, a tent, a place to sleep.
Yeah.
It's it's search and rescue. Search and rescue. The first
Yeah.
48 hours are the
Time
most
is
critical.
of like the most
Time is of
essence
the
right there.
essence.
So let me ask you though. So when you went over there, did you link up? Did you link up with somebody? So you linked up with the fire rescue. Anybody
Correct.
local that were like, "Hey, we're here, come," or you just like you got to?
No,
where,
we went directly to the fire department, to our urban search and rescue guys that we
they,
work
they
with.
linked up with Fort Myers already.
So they had already established that relationship with Fort Myers
Yeah.
Fire Rescue
Yeah.
and stuff like that. The fire department had lost their firehouse.
yeah, we went by.
Yeah, exactly. They had lost their firehouse there, so their closest firehouse was outside of the island. So we were handling all the search and rescue for them, and it was about 8-mile stretch.
Yeah.
For I would say maybe about 100 guys, 150 guys, something like that. I don't know the exact number. To do that until further resources arrived. Eventually, other resources arrived. You're talking about New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Missouri, Virginia, and I know I'm missing some, but you can see they're coming from far away. Their drive is not like 2-3 hours like us. Their drive is upwards of a day.
Urban Search and Rescue is a part of the federal
Yes, FEMA.
So it's
Yeah.
part of the federal government.
Yeah.
And then that's why I'm assuming they coming in from other states, right?
Exactly. They get activated through the federal,
Yeah.
through the feds, the FEMA, and they come in. Obviously, because we're within the same state. The state was the one that activated us, the Urban Search and Rescue team here from Miami. So they got sent up. A lot of rescue teams ended up going. It would have been impossible to just do it just us with all the devastation.
Let's explain that. Like, okay, let's say something happens here, right? We are going to be stretched.
Yes.
Because we're putting everybody out there.
Correct.
All of our resources are going to be stretched. And if something was to happen on a large scale, such as that hurricane and the way it happens, especially in Fort Myers, because I don't know how large their agency is.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll have in their sheriffs.
If I'm not mistaken, their sheriff's office is actually comparable, if not smaller, than us here in the city of Miami.
Wow.
So imagine now it's not like you're going to one call. It's the entire area needs you.
Everyone needs help.
So
And not only that, your own teammates need help.
Yeah.
Because you went through it, you lived there.
Exactly.
So if we don't go to help them,
Yeah.
then
They can't take care of
they
their
can't take care of themselves
family.
Right.
and their family. So the reality is that you can't take care of other people unless you're being taken care of.
Yeah.
So
that's important for us to go, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's going to happen to us.
Yeah.
Because we're down Hurricane Alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've gotten some close calls in the last couple of years, so it's just a matter of time that it's going to happen to us. So, and they're going to do the same thing that we did for them. They're going to come down here and they're going to help us, and we're going to be extremely grateful, because we're going to be worried about our families, our homes, as well as work.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to take on,
Yeah.
especially if you lost everything like some of them did.
Yes. We're going to take a short break.
Okay.
But before we do, to wrap it up, at least in there, we're going to continue talking. But to wrap up that thought is, from my understanding and from what I heard was that area hasn't taken a direct impact to a large scale, high, like intense hurricane in like 100 years, right? So but they've gotten hit.
Yeah.
Right? They've gotten hit from the bands, and they've gotten hit by hurricanes.
Yeah, but never a direct hit. Direct hit.
And the crazy thing is that really they didn't get a direct hit because they never got the eye. The eye of the storm was north of them. The problem was that they got the dirty side.
Yeah.
The dirty side
And
of the
it's
storm.
stalled out, right?
And it's nonstop.
Yeah.
Because at least if you get the eye, you get that break.
Get a little breathing room there.
You get that break of, I don't know, depending on the size of the storm, 20, 30, 40 miles.
Yeah.
But they got nothing. They just got hammered with the rain and all that.
Well, it's also the size of the storm. Like compared to Andrew, this hurricane dwarfed Andrew in terms of size, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because in recent years we keep looking at these storms, like the one last year that almost passed through the entire state.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're huge.
They're just getting
Bigger
bigger
and
and stronger every year.
So it's not saying that we shouldn't be worried about something like this. Is because of Andrew, a lot of laws
changed,
and regulations
Building
have
codes.
changed.
Building
Building
code,
codes.
Yep.
So you have to have things up to par. However, if it's pre-existing, you just kind of like
Your grandfathered in,
yeah,
yeah.
it's been there.
Yep.
You know, so imagine 100 years ago, some of those
structures have been up for who knows how long.
Exactly.
a lot of wood here. Down here, it's like cement.
Yeah.
You got to go down because really enforce it.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, a lot of that infrastructure down there was old and the storm and couldn't handle the storm surge.
Yeah.
So that's where you saw that wood everywhere. With that being said, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back. I think you want to go into some questions because I think they fall in line.
Yeah,
right?
they do.
fall in line.
They do.
We're going to take some questions from the audience
do it.
when we get back from this break.
Sounds good.
right.
Let's go on break.
Let's do it.
Hey, some important information. The Miami Police Podcast now has its own YouTube channel. That's right, its own YouTube channel. So if you're not watching it on the Miami Police Podcast channel, click on over, go over there and hit a subscribe, click the notification bell. That's where we're going to be housing all of our Miami Police Podcast full episodes over there. So make sure to subscribe over there. With that being said, let's get back to the podcast. All right. We're back from break. I'm not going to ask you about the commercial.
Okay, all right.
Because you seem to like our stuff. But on break, Ralph was saying, hey, I think we need to clarify that.
Yeah, because
rescue
you
task
have
force.
mentioned a couple of times the Urban Search and Rescue and
Yeah.
the South Florida Task Force. So
Yeah.
who are these and who are they comprised of? Like,
Man, Urban Search and Rescue, South Florida Task Force number 2. And I keep saying Task Force number 2 because we also have
Number one.
with number 1, which is Miami-Dade County. Doesn't mean that they are number 1, but
They're just-
I'm not gonna go back and forth with them, but gotta show love for our city of Miami guys,
What if
they're
what
the
if
top
your
of the
truck
top.
said made by Miami-Dade County?
Oh,
I don't want to keep going back to
let's
that.
not go there. Let's not go there. Got some love for Miami Fire.
Yeah.
So
And county too. We love everybody.
Of course, we
It's
love
just that
everybody.
if
It's
you're-
just, we work with them side by side every day.
Yeah, it's like big brother, little, sibling
Exactly.
love, sibling.
We're the same
for
building.
sure.
Exactly.
So, anyways, it's 50% of the team is from City of Miami.
okay.
And then they have fire personnel from other agencies. I believe, don't quote me 100%, but I believe they go all the way up to Fort Myers. I know they got people from Broward, Marion
it's
County, I
regional.
believe.
So it's like regional.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, where the city of Miami isn't that big.
Yeah.
To be able to have a full team.
Yeah.
Because then if we send everybody, then
who's here?
Who stays back here?
Yeah,
It's just
makes
like us in the
sense.
police department. If we send a lot of resources, then who stays back here to do the work?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like
they got
half City of Miami and then half, filled in by other agencies around Florida.
Exactly. I know they got the Gables. If I'm not mistaken, the beach also.
Okay.
So a lot of smaller agencies also participate in it.
Okay, got you.
And as a City of Miami, employee, I'm proud to work side by side with these guys, and now working with them hand in hand, like I did this past 2 weeks. They're amazing. They're the best of the best, and as a resident of down here, I know that my family will be good with this team down here.
Nice.
Be proud to be a Miamian.
Awesome.
So if a disaster happens, natural disaster, or the building collapse in Surfside,
Correct.
these teams, they get deployed out to that area for rescue recovery.
Yeah,
and-
Search and rescue.
When I spoke to them, they were in Surfside for I want to say almost a month. They were out there, and even though they're local, they don't go home.
Yeah.
They don't go home. They sleep there on site because you don't know what's going to happen. Those 2 or 3 hours that you do get of downtime.
Yeah.
You always have to be at a steady rate, at a ready, at an alert state.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To
so-
be able to respond.
So when you're doing something like that, there is no downtime per se. You said downtime, but there's more personnel coming in to fill because your 2 hours that you're breaking is 2 hours somebody might be stuck under rubble.
Exactly. So those first 48 hours are critical.
Yeah.
To search and rescue and being able to provide that aid to those people that do have a chance of survival.
Yeah.
And if I was in those shoes, I want our guys to be there.
Absolutely.
Especially after seeing firsthand and working alongside them. Definitely.
So that is a good. Those kind of sums it up. Yeah, because I think we glazed over a little bit.
Yeah,
but we wanted to come back
and they respond. They respond everywhere. They've been to Haiti. Local. They've been to other states. So they're
experienced with that type of situation.
I believe there was somebody from France. There was a team from France that came over for service. I know it's from out of the country.
Wasn't Israel there too?
Israel. Israel.
Yeah, and Mexico too. Yeah, because a lot of those places that have earthquakes, they deal with a lot of collapses.
Yeah,
building collapses. So they're good. They're experts when it comes to that. So it's always good to have somebody that deals with that more
globally working in together.
Yeah,
nice
for sure.
Right.
We have questions.
Let's do it.
We're on Instagram. We're on TikToks. We're on YouTube. If you're not following us, I'm talking to the audience now. If you're not following us, we have a new
subscribe.
We have a new channel dedicated to the podcast.
Oh.
So we're gonna have one for the vlogs and any other PSAs or recruitment videos, but we're gonna have one dedicated to the podcast because it's a little bit longer videos.
Yeah.
So if you're not following us, Miami Please Podcast on YouTube.
And click subscribe.
And we're going to put up like the first 4 or 5 episodes on both. And then they're just going to be solely on that Miami Please podcast channel moving forward. But you'll see some clips. So if you're not following us, make sure you follow us because you can one day ask a question to our guest. Like these questions that you're about to hear on Anissa's questions from the audience that's listening on our social media platforms.
Man, he really gets into this.
Wow, he really gets committed. He's committed.
Yeah. Who needs sound effects when you have Nick?
I know.
I was going to say, sir, with all due respect, have you seen our soundboard? Have you heard it? I have to.
I've heard you.
You see?
I'm still waiting to hear the wah wah.
Yeah.
Do we have that one or no?
I still have it.
Because I've been on point.
We haven't had no down moments today.
That's true.
It's one of those on his keypad over there. He just randomly selecting.
It's the one with all the dust.
Pick a blue light.
Yeah.
That one.
The one with all the dust because I've been on point this time.
All right. Smooth.
All right, Anissa, what do you got?
Okay, so how difficult was
Whoa. Who asked the question?
The handle.
We got to get the shout out. That's the whole.
Okay. So this is on IG.
Instagram.
And it's the every hour. How difficult was the work to clean up the mess from the hurricane?
Well, we got there. It was about 2 to 3 feet of sand all over the place. Mm-hmm. You really, even me knowing the area well, like I do, getting around was difficult. So bulldozers were already there. I don't think we saw asphalt. The actual asphalt street the day you showed up. So
Saturday.
Saturday, we started seeing some.
Wow.
Then it was like you would make a left to go, down some streets, and there was a house in the middle.
Wow. Way to get around.
Exactly. So it's like one of those you have to search those before you push them out of the way because you don't know if there's somebody in there. So and it's not just one search. These guys do multiple searches.
Yeah.
Multiple searches. The first search, and eventually it gets to a secondary high, secondary low, secondary high. They're squared away.
Yeah.
They're squared away. So if there was somebody there, they'd find them. But the issue is, being able to clear the streets. To get there. So it was difficult. We needed the bulldozer. And it wasn't even the small ones. We're talking about the big ones that had to be brought in with big 18-wheelers.
Yeah.
Wasn't it there's only one way to get into Sanibel, right? With that one bridge?
That bridge collapsed. We didn't go over there because obviously you had to be helicoptered in or ferried in for that. So we stayed on Fort Myers Beach, but Fort Myers Beach only has 2 ways in. The night we got there, we had to shut down the
south
bridge.
end.
Yeah, the south end, which is over by Lovers Beach.
Yeah, by Lovers Key.
Exactly, Lovers Key. So, because when we got there, we were looking at the white lines on the road, and they had shifted. They were about 9 to 10 inches apart.
Oh wow!
So we had to call the county and have them shut it down until somebody deemed it safe.
Wow.
A professional came in for that. So now we're down to 1 way in, 1 way out.
And that's because I think the day before, people were traveling over a bridge, and then when it just collapsed.
Yeah.
So people were actually on the bridge.
The bridge.
I don't know if they were on the bridge, but they were using a bridge that then eventually collapsed hours later.
Yeah.
So then like, okay, we need to start looking at these bridges.
At every other bridge.
Yeah, we didn't want to take that risk. So the minute we saw that, we called Lee County, so they sent one of their own, and the National Guard assisted with blocking it.
So you're saying 2 to 3 feet of sand, right? So I just want the audience to so there's sand at the beach, but that sand has been there for a while.
Yeah.
So it's compacted a little bit, and it's a little bit easier to ride vehicles. This is loose sand. Got there.
Now it's loose.
Yeah.
So you're driving, and when we got there, our 1500, we couldn't use these trail buses. We had to park them.
Yeah.
We had to park them. All we were able to do was use the excursions because now they're really high, the extra weight. So now by us driving on it, we were starting to compact it.
Yeah.
We were off-roading.
Yeah.
We were off-roading, in essence, because this sand was 2-3 feet high.
Wow.
So and the bulldozers, like I said, they were working nonstop, around the clock, trying to get this, the streets, safer for us to be able to drive.
Yeah, when I showed up, he's like, today's the first day that we actually get to see the pavement,
The street.
So you coming over? So you saw the boats, right?
Yeah.
You coming over that bridge? What's your first? Is that a question? We're in the other.
There was
questions.
some kind of question.
Let me
about,
not get into it. We'll get it at the end.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Go because we're gonna
veer off. Yeah,
go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got another one. It's T_Spice 85. That's the user. What was the living conditions of the first responders who went to the West Coast?
Well, we from the city of Miami, we had 2 groups that went. The first group went over to the Lee Civic Center, where they were housed and fed and everything there. They were assisting, our department was assisting Fort Myers PD with answering calls for service and stuff like that. And then the other agencies were assisting Cape Coral. For us, that were with the Urban Search and Rescue team out in Fort Myers Beach. First couple of days, we slept on the sand in the cars, whatever, for the hour or two that we got off. That we were able to shut our eyes and get a little breather. Then eventually, tents were set up that USAR has with them. Like I said, the first couple of days is all hands on deck. So there's no time to build tents or anything like that. So eventually tents were built, where with cots where we were able to sleep. And then another tent was built for like a chow hall so we could eat. A couple trailers were brought in that had bathrooms and showers for us to be able to, for hygiene purposes. And
you were over there a couple of days, and you're like, I haven't been able to. I haven't been able to shower. It's just the nature of the beast.
The first couple of days, there was no shower. That's why I warned you. I go, hey.
because
we're trying our best, to stay high, to have some hygienes, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard,
all good.
Search and rescue, takes a priority over your personal hygienes there for a little
For
bit.
sure. Yeah, like you mentioned, the first 48 hours are crucial.
Yeah.
So I'm sure once you get there, those first 48 hours, and nothing else really matters. And then
Exactly.
after that, you can settle in for the long game.
Exactly, which is what happened.
All right, so we got something else from Barbara Bain 10. How do you handle the personal trauma?
I mean, you talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it. I mean, we've seen a lot in our 19, 20 years here in the department. We work in a jurisdiction in South Florida. Any officer from South Florida sees what we see in a year. Some other officers don't see in their entire career.
Yeah.
Yep.
So from rookie officer, we see a lot of things. So we get desensitized to a lot of these things. So a lot of it isn't really traumatic to us. We already have a mechanism to cope with it personally, everybody.
Yeah.
But even with that, we had the peer support groups show up there. We had
Chaplains were out there.
Chaplains were out there.
That's great.
Yeah, chaplains were out there. The peer support dogs, including ours, was up there.
And each other.
And exactly,
Yeah.
and like I said, talking about it,
Yeah, it's sharing that common, like, hey, because we both, when I was spending time with them up there, I was like, man, I come up here a lot, man.
Yeah.
Like maybe twice a month sometimes, and other times once a month, and either be this area or a little bit south at Bonita Beach. But sharing that, because it's like that was our piece, that's our piece.
Yeah.
To go over
Yeah.
there, it's a short drive away, but you're in another.
It's our little piece of paradise, second home.
You have an emotional connection there.
Yes.
Of course.
So getting
Of course.
that taken from you is like, man, and that's just being selfish, because some people live over there, they had their life,
Lost
and
everything.
they lost everything.
Yeah, there's some small islands that just aren't there basically anymore. They're just
Yeah.
wiped,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's sad when you have a 70-year-old man that he doesn't have a car. He's trying to get to his house. That Saturday, I think, was either before or right after I hooked up with you to drive around, and he needed a ride. So I drove him over to his house, and he gets there and he's like, in shock. There's nothing.
Yeah.
He's like, literally everything that I own now is on my person.
Yeah.
That's all he owns now.
That's crazy.
Because everything
Sad.
else was gone.
Yeah.
Everything
It's
was gone.
tragic. Yeah.
It is. It's devastating.
Yeah, and
devastating.
then you come back. Like I came back, and I'm just like, and it's like a whole nother world.
Yeah.
Everything's there, but you're looking through a more appreciative because every day by day, you go by, you go home to the same house, you see your
Exactly.
wife, you see
All
your
your
kid,
stuff is there.
everything's there,
Yeah.
and you just take it for granted because over there you're like, wow,
Yeah.
and then you come back over here and just puts everything.
And the
in
reality is that it missed us by miles.
yes,
You know, by
Yeah.
by very little. It could have been us. You know,
Yes.
and I don't want to jinx it. But it will be us one day.
He's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it will
Yeah.
be us. We had Andrew.
Like you mentioned, we're in that alley. It's
Yeah.
something we deal
We're
with
in the
every
alley.
year.
which we're gonna in the last segment. I want to give a little bit of advice or something what you learned, what you can give to the audience,
Of course.
to prepare for something like that. And I think we're gonna take one more question.
All right, so we do have one last question. It's by Everguess8744. How bad was the looting over there?
Oh wow.
Well,
I think
the island. You know,
That's what I was gonna say.
I hate to say this. There wasn't a lot
Yeah.
to be able to loot. But of course, it always exists. There's always people that take advantage of it. Obviously, like the governor of Florida had said, don't get on boats and go do that. And of course, that's what people were doing.
Yeah.
So we got together with Fish and Wildlife, with Lee County, and we made sure, to block certain entrances and stuff like that from people being able to come in on boats.
Yeah.
To be able to loot. I know a couple of arrests were made by Lee County Sheriff's Departments while we were up there.
Yeah.
And of course, with us being highly visible, driving up and down in the high water vehicles,
Yeah.
our officers detached to each individual USAR component
Yeah.
team that was out there doing searches throughout the entire island, and as well as other agencies, because every other task force, like New York, they had NYPD with them. There was the FBI, the DEA, ATF. They were all out there
Yeah.
because they all got sent with these different groups. So you had law enforcement all around the island. So that helped out with decreasing the ability for people to loot.
There was just a very high volume of officers and just personnel out there.
Yeah.
Right. And there was a choke point to get into the island, which was the main bridge that got in. So there was that. If you're coming on foot, you got one entrance, and at that entrance at the bottom, they had it cut off to unless you lived on the island.
Yeah.
Or you were part of the rescue task force team some way or somehow.
Yeah, which was that day. Then even for residents, they weren't even allowed to go in because it's just unsafe. And with all the personnel, it got to the point that we had probably upwards of 600 first responders on the island just working.
Wow.
Yeah.
Working. So it's like you also have the residents, and as much as you want them to be able to go to their house, it's also hindering the search and rescue mission because you have now so many people on the island, and you also have to worry about them.
Yeah.
Them walking into these unsafe structures and stuff like that. So it's a hard decision to make.
So on the other side of the bridge, I think there was a little more looting because it got hit. Windows were busted. Things were out. Power
Yes.
was out, but their structures were still in place.
Correct.
Things were still. The water didn't reach there, so that's where they saw a little bit more of the looting on that
correct.
inside part of the coastline. Whereas you were there was devastation.
That's correct.
So with that being said, I just wanted to clarify that. With that being said, we're going to take a short break. Those were the questions. Thank you for sending them in. If you want to be featured, again, follow us on our social media platforms. With that being said, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to get a little bit more into, there's some questions we had, especially like living in Hurricane Highway here, that maybe we can help prepare.
Hurricane preparedness.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, with that being said, let's take a break.
Be right back. Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you're not already, make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms, which are all right here. We'll link it down below in the description as well. Now let's get back to the show.
And now we're back.
He did
There you go.
I'm telling you, I'm doing some research right now. I'm going to find your YouTube channel, your podcast
we'll
that you
see.
have.
We'll see.
Too good. You ever did any PIO or anything like
No.
that? You just ever did any stand-up comedy?
No.
You ever did any public speaking?
No.
Well, I mean, you have to.
You have to. With the department here.
Yeah,
There.
but you're pretty good, natural at it.
I try.
We're gonna ask you a couple more questions, and we're gonna give some tips out to the audience listening that's in Hurricane Highway here,
All right.
living in Florida.
Let's do this.
You have experience. You lived in Florida all your life?
Yeah.
So you've experienced Andrew, I would
Correct.
presume, by the grays in your beard.
I was a little kid. You know, don't take all the white hair. You know, for my age.
Yeah, but
I'm a lot younger than I look.
yes, I think we're the same age. So you experienced Andrew. You experienced. I went up. Did you go to the Panhandle for Hurricane Michael?
No, I didn't have the opportunity for that.
I went up there, but whatever. We've seen some stuff.
Yeah.
Is the devastation and the impact that Ian had over there, at least in Fort Myers Beach, is that the worst that you've seen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and even hearing it from other guys that have been deployed to other areas, they were like, "This is the worst." The storm surge just did so much damage.
Yeah.
It's just an incredible. Mother Nature's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, so you would say that was probably what caused the most damage? Was the storm surge?
Yeah. I would say wind. Obviously, like always, wind always knocks
Plays
the
a
trees down,
factor,
plays a
but-
factor. Power lines and stuff like that. But for these buildings to go the way that they did and end up hundreds of yards away, if they even some guy was telling us, hey, there was a house in the middle of the street, and I was talking to the guy, and he's like, yeah, I was in that house before it made it to the middle of the street. My buddy's boat was hitting it from the storm surge. It kept hitting it until it knocked it off the stilt, and we ended up falling into the middle of the street.
I think people underestimate the storm surge. I think they can't picture in their mind's eye a wall of water 10 feet tall coming at them.
The problem is that we hear it so often, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that too.
it's like, what's the little boy that cried wolf?
Cried wolf.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so we hear it so often, yet it never happens.
Yeah.
So somebody said that over there. Oh, we've heard this in the past, and all we've gotten is 4 feet of water.
Right. Yep.
So why is this going to be any different? Well, it was, and it was real. They got 15 plus, feet of water.
So my buddy lives in Fort Myers, and that's one of the reasons why I was going over there to help him out. But then I've heard of the contingency that was going up early that morning. I'm like, I'm gonna go out there with them and take the ride with them. So, anyways, he tells me, because he lives over there, that there was a hurricane before the last hurricane that came through. Everyone went to Home Depot. If they didn't have shutters, they bought plywood.
Yeah.
They did all that stuff, and they got nothing.
That's
So they
right.
prepared, and they got nothing.
The sandbags and nothing.
Everything,
Right.
and they got nothing. So he even said, "He's like, yeah, I took some of my stuff on outside in the yard, and I put it in. I left some chairs out, and I was gonna sit by my pool and just sit out there with the hurricane. And if it got bad, and then I would come inside. But that was the plan. I didn't put up any shutters or anything. So everyone was, like you said,
And just having that mindset, like, nothing's gonna happen. They
And
always say,
like the mindset that unfortunately a lot of people have in Miami. You know what?
Yeah.
It's a hurricane party.
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
have a party.
Right.
But now you visit areas like this, and you're like,
yeah,
man.
realize how
You know,
serious.
Mother Nature's no joke.
She's no joke. She's a force to be reckoned
Yes.
with.
Yeah.
She's gonna get her way, especially when you're talking about water. Water gets in everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it will find a place to get in.
yeah,
Yes.
To finish off that is that he was watching the news, and it turned and started coming towards him, and it's like late at night, and then he's got a little go bag set up.
Yeah.
And he's looking at the go bag, he's looking at the TV, he's looking at the go bag, and he's like, Then his dad calls him and says, "Hey, why don't you come over back to the East Coast? What are you doing? Like, why are you gambling?" And then he's like, the bag's like, "Just go."
Yeah.
And he grabbed the bag and took off. He's like, "I just had some toiletry and I bounced." So on the way over there, he was getting alerts over the alley, tornadoes. So to answer your question, you would go long time, you don't see nothing, but then I saw a sign just twisted up. And then you go past it and there's nothing. So I'm like, that was a tornado.
Yeah.
So those tornadoes going across.
We got
Popping
tornadoes
up on
here,
there.
and the Pembroke Pines Airport.
Yeah, there was.
Pines, it got tornadoes there. So that was another.
Delray Beach, I think.
I'm assuming that there was evacuations in place, right? Especially for the coast. But again,
evacuations.
But a lot of people are like, I'm gonna write it out.
Yeah.
Don't want to leave my house.
Exactly.
And it wasn't.
And you're talking about older people, retired people that they're set in their ways. They don't want to change, or they don't have family, or it's just one of those, we've heard this so many times.
We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Again, we're dealing with this.
It wasn't a projected hit. It was supposed to go to Tampa.
Right.
And then
And it kept shifting south.
exactly.
Yep.
So, anyways, that was, unfortunately, that's going to be your worst that you say. I went to Mexico City Beach with Michael a couple years ago and saw the devastation there. As I was getting closer, I'm like, this is something similar.
Yeah.
Once I got to Fort Myers Beach, I'm like, this is similar, but this is worse.
Yeah.
If I had to put it on the scale, they were both really bad.
Yeah.
But this one was definitely worse. And when you were over there, you mentioned you came across some victims that were deceased because of the storm.
Correct.
So you saw some people that were there that lost their lives.
Yeah.
That was part of the mission.
It was part of the mission. I mean, at the beginning, search and rescue, you find them.
Yeah.
And then we had so many collapses.
Yeah.
We had to use the dogs to be able to with the scent, and sometimes you would just smell.
Yeah.
The decomposure. Unfortunately, and they were there.
Yeah.
They were there. We try to look at the positive. We were at least able to get some closure for that family.
Yeah.
Because the storm surge pulled so much out into the ocean that we don't even know.
Yeah.
I spoke to one marina owner, and he's like, I don't know if he said 23 or 33 vessels unaccounted for.
Wow.
He's like, I see all the sunken ones that are out there because it wasn't too deep. He's like, I've seen those, but I don't know where the other 23 or 33, whichever number he gave me, where they're at.
Yeah.
No, they're out there somewhere miles
Sucked out into the ocean.
Imagine all this water, 15, 18 feet of water came in. It had to go back out somewhere.
Yeah.
And so with that, it took things with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing that really you don't want to talk about it, but if there's boats that are destroyed, houses that are destroyed, you got to believe that there's going to be some victims that are some humans that lost their lives, some people that lost their lives.
It's unfortunate, but it's
so
just the nature of the beast.
That is, and
just another reason why they need so much help over there.
That puts me to the next thing is like we live in Hurricane Highway, Hurricane Alley. We're there.
Yeah.
Constantly every year, either getting missed, getting nicked. No pun intended.
Oh, smooth.
You like that?
Oh, there we go.
Hey,
Finally brought it out.
Finally, yes.
Got you.
You got to use it.
We're
Better
almost
late
done.
than never.
59 minutes and 59 seconds into it.
So, what about some tips, some preventative tips that we can give as far as just a heads up, And this might not have to be. This is like common sense. Or like, hey man, I saw this, so I just want to tell you, I'm no expert. I didn't go to school,
Of course,
for this. But what do you got?
But it's just have food supplies.
Yeah.
Once hurricane season starts, why wait till the last minute? Oh my God, a storm's gonna hit us. Okay, now let's go shopping for it.
Yeah.
No, have your cans, your waters. I'm the type that I'll go buy right at the beginning of hurricane season. 3-4 cases of water, and I just keep them there. And the minute hurricane season finishes, then I use it.
Yeah.
I use it, and then wait till next year, and then do the same thing. Just have your supplies ready. And don't take anything for granted.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. What's really going to happen.
Right.
Again, these people thought storm surge wasn't coming. We always say the same thing. Oh, that's not going to happen. But it happened.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's going to happen, because it's going to happen.
And if you can evacuate.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Especially the coastline.
areas, yes.
Of course. I already told my wife, I said, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I know you don't like driving, but anything over a category 2, drive.
Yes.
You're driving.
Yeah.
You're driving, and I'll pray and that I'll see you in a week.
Yeah, you gotta make the decision early.
Exactly. And if you're gonna stay, let somebody know that you're staying.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna make it also a lot easier for first responders later on to be able to find you.
Yeah.
Because by somebody being able to come and say, I know for a fact
That
this
person
person was hunkered down and stayed in their house, makes it a lot easier, because now we know, okay, we got to specifically go search deep into this house, because we were searching attics and everything. 'Cause you don't know where people were hiding, because they were trying not to drown.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
Generators, have your generator. Have your generator ready. I got a standby generator at my house. I learned during the last storm that we had here was minor. But my son was months old. My daughter was maybe like 2. And the heat that it becomes hot.
Yeah.
So I learned right after that, I just purchased a standby generator. It turns on automatically and all that.
Nice.
So, and now I don't have to worry about fuel. Because it's on propane, on natural gas. So you don't have to, as long as you're stocked with that, or you have natural gas at the house, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about these fuels.
These are two different categories. If you're in that evacuation zone, get out.
Get out. Yep.
It's not like, okay, well, I'm just going to get a generator.
You're being told for a reason. You're being told for a reason.
Yeah.
There's some expert out there. It's better to say, you know what? Once again, they got me.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Than to be sucked in
and say, you know what? I wish I would have paid attention as you're taking your last breath.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the last thing you or your family wants. Yeah.
It's horrific just imagining the water rising and you're trapped in your apartment.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
And people that we spoke to that were clinging onto the mangroves for hours to dear life to not be swept away.
Yeah. How'd the team do? I know those guys over there. They were over there. I spoke to some of them. They're all tan.
Exactly.
And everybody got a tan.
That's for sure.
And they're like, I don't want to ever go back to the beach for like a long time.
Oh yeah.
No sun.
So
Yeah, no.
Fort Myers is beautiful. The weather's beautiful. The sand is beautiful. And the positive is that you guys were on this beautiful area. However, it is a disaster zone.
Exactly.
So the weather was at least helpful to you to get in and out and do things.
Yeah, and I mean, and at night, the first couple of nights, it was cold.
Yeah.
It was cold, like sweater cold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, when a hurricane comes by, it kind of just sucks up the humidity and everything and takes it with it.
Yeah.
So you have no power, but you got about 24 hours of good weather.
Exactly.
And then you're
get
done.
ready. Then get ready.
Then get ready.
It's back.
This is somebody breathing on you all day. Just
So LT, quick question. I was thinking we talked about safety before the hurricane, but what about in the aftermath of the hurricane? You always see these videos after the hurricane of people paddleboarding or swimming through the high water. What do you say to that? What do you say to those people?
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, even for us, and and the USAR, the Urban Search and Rescue Team, they don't even drive in these waters themselves. They'll send somebody ahead, trying to figure out to make sure that you're actually driving into the road.
Yeah.
Because if especially an area that you don't know, you could be driving into a lake.
Yeah.
For all you know, you don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
What about power lines?
Power lines, yeah.
Power lines. Again, when they
Anything
were
could be
driving
in
in,
that
there was
water.
power lines all over the place. Granted, they're trained and they were able to cut them down and stuff like that. But for the regular, Joe walking down the street, we don't know that.
Yeah.
We're not trained for that.
I saw a lot of cars that were in the runoffs. So on the side of the road here, so whenever excess water, they have like a little canal dug out.
Yeah.
A lot of cars in there, and you could tell that they were trying. They were mostly Jeeps. Hate to say, mostly Jeeps.
Trying to
Like,
get
I'm gonna
through.
take my Jeep out. It's fine.
And they're stuck.
And they were in there, all in there down the road.
Because you can't see.
No, you can't see. So
especially if you don't know the area. If you know the area, but it's still not. You still shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But you have some knowledge of the areas. But people that don't have knowledge of the area, or you're in a panic and you're trying to get out, you forget these things. You forget, where that pothole was that every day you went around. But you're in a panic because it's now life or death.
Yeah. And typically when you're in the evacuation zone, they'll have where you can go.
Exactly.
So people are like, yeah, but if I got to evacuate, where am I going to go? I don't have money for a hotel. They usually have something set up inland at a school. Something's a little bit more
usually.
fortified.
Like usually, I know that here in Dade County, a lot of high schools, middle schools, they open up a shelter. FIU becomes a big shelter. And they have some where you can take your pets with you.
Yeah.
So we're prepared.
Absolutely.
We're prepared. There's a plan in place here in Dade County, in Miami-Dade County for that.
Yeah.
We just have to adhere to it.
We're gonna tail it off, but before we go, and we just want to thank you and for representing over there. We still have people over there, right?
Yes, we do. So it was 8 of us that went to Fort Myers.
The initial
22 also went up a couple days later, which was the contingency
Saturday,
you went
yeah,
up to.
yeah.
They've been assisting Fort Myers Police Department with their calls for service and stuff like that. So their officers can also go to their house and take care of themselves and take care of their families and their homes and everything that they lost. That group came back. We sent a group to replace them. So so currently we have 22 over there. Should be back this weekend, and then we're sending another group up. If I'm not mistaken, also this weekend, and they're probably going to go to Sanibel. Something like that is what I heard. Not 100% confirmed, but there's a third group that's going to be going up there to assist.
So shout out to all our brothers and sisters over there that are representing the City of Miami Police Department. Thank you guys. You guys are heroes. Can't wait to hear the stories that you bring back with. This is something that you guys left, and we're all proud. I think the whole city got behind you. You could tell by the post that the whole city was like, wow, this is...
Felt proud.
Yeah, it did. Shout out to our family and then our extended family. Task Force 1, Miami-Dade County. We love you, and we want to thank you guys for everything you do.
And we don't talk about you guys much because obviously we didn't deal with you guys out there, in that aspect. So the only
they can go on their podcast and talk about
they got their own social media. They got their own social media. But at the end of the day, you know what? Fort Myers got the best of the best.
Yeah.
There are two, from my understanding, and I could be wrong, but from my understanding, there's two USAR teams that are tier 1s in the state of Florida, and we got them here in Miami.
Nice.
It's the City of Miami as well as Miami-Dade County Fire Department. So, I'm proud to live in Miami. and that we got the best of the best here.
All right.
For anything
Awesome.
we need.
So thank you again, man. Thank you
you guys for
joining
inviting
us.
us.
You just got back, and
Just
I was
got
like,
back.
we need to talk about
we
this.
we literally just got back. I got my first good night's rest last night, and now back to business
All
in
right.
Miami.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you guys for the setup
Thank
and
you.
for what you do.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
You guys good?
I'll just say before we go that again, I know Nick touched on it, but shout out to every single one of our officers that went out there. I know they left their families for a long period of time, dropped everything in that moment, and went across to the other coast. And you did make everybody proud here. So again, shout out to everyone that's out there right now. And LT, thanks for coming on.
And I will say it's not just City of Miami, guys. You know, shout out also to
Everybody,
Miami Beach,
yeah.
the Gables, Medley, everybody that went out there from Miami. Everybody, you know, uprooted and, you know, left their families behind
For sure.
to go and assist over there. And thank you to our family for holding on the fort while we were gone, trying to help other people.
For sure.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, LT. And I just wanted to say, this was a good conversation because, you know, it reminds people that through all the tragedy and of disaster, there's always the silver lining of everybody coming together and pitching in, trying to help their fellow Floridians.
Absolutely. And it wasn't only government. I saw a lot of civilians driving with gas cans and things across the alley going over there
Everybody.
for the help. With that being said,
We're
thank
Florida
you.
strong.
Thank you guys for listening.
We're
and
down.
we'll get you on the next podcast.
See you
Anissa.
guys next time.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.